Hello, hi. And so, this whole thing, I have no background in psychology. Don't take me for and don't quote me. Rather, don't quote me. But, this is, I've done this in the past with from UNHCR and another topic, I think. But people just take it. YouTube is all out there. So, people who have more better grades, etc. So this 28-year-old lady, she turns 29. Yeah, is pursuing a PhD in clinical psychology, but you know, the parents say that there's some the whole dark uh, matter hidden in there. All right, dark matter. So so it's a little hard to fathom what actually is happening. Besides, as I said, we've grown apart and separate ways. So but it's a little problematic because my son is working, and if things work out into this, so I thought she could cash out with a master's in clinical psychology itself. But this is a topic in regular psychology, so but it's a topic, so the psychological aspect, she would have to explain. So my idea is, no, it Sigmund Freud came up with the Freudian slip in a sexual way. I mean, Freudian slip done in a sexual way. But at this time, Freudian slip, loosely termed, could be. Yesterday, I said Professor Fernod said Freudian slip because I pulled out the mathematics topic he had taught for a experimental research paper, and it was a lot of fun doing the combinatorial mathematics for it. All right, so the ring polynomial combinatorial design, and that could be, well, for me, a Freudian slip. If you go by Sigmund Freud, ring, I look for rings, a graduation ring here, though, not my wedding ring, graduation ring. All right, my masters, my MH and MSc, and of course my bachelor's. So that was a ring. So that kind of got me the right mathematics solution. So that was good. So today, so the idea here, I'm going to give. So I looked at the newspaper, and Ms. Louise Arbour, the past Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, announced King Charles III that she's becoming the late last week that she's becoming the Governor General of Canada. And so this is a picture, and her speech, except from her two articles. This article, and this is the opinion columnist Sharon Proudfoot for the Globe and Mail. Has so I look I, I read this in detail, this essay, and this I grasped the gist of it. And so the previous the Governor General of Canada was the first Indigenous Governor General, Mary Simon, and this is Louise Arbour. She had a fantastic resume. She was the only woman to have worked as a judge uh, in a legal white Catholic girls, in a legal career. She was an anomaly in a sea of Anglophones. So the speech is, of course, you would expect a lady of her caliber and reputation and resume to come out with a fantastic speech. So I imagine that from today she is going to get busy. So she had retired as a Chief Justice. So she wrote a speech herself. And I read here, the Governor General represents the King in Canada with responsibilities that include carrying out constitutional duties, representing Canada at home and abroad, and recognizing Canadian excellence through such institutions as the Order of Canada. So it's a very, worthy of somebody of her reputation. Speech is very good. But strangely enough, nothing about the king. The king had said he would come, and I don't see, but Prime Minister Carney was there, Mark Carney, and he spoke highly of her. So she's built her career on qualities of sound judgment, deep learning, and an unwavering commitment to the rule of law that are key to a Governor General exercising their responsibilities. This is what Prime Minister Carney said. And at every stage of her distinguished career, Her Excellency Louise Arbour has defended and promoted justice, dignity, and equality. So this for Prime Minister Carney saying equality, because the lady served as a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, so she upheld equality. So that could be the justice, of course. Well, she was the Chief Justice. So that, and then what are the quality? Dignity. Well, that comes with all her positions, in official positions, and so that kind of equality, that is his Freudian slip. So because he said this about Louise Arbour, Her Excellency Louise Arbour, and Louise Arbour, excellent speech. I would recommend you get yourself a copy of the Globe and Mail and read both this essay by Ian Bailey and the opinion column by Shannon Proudfoot. But in Shannon Proudfoot has said that the Miss Arbour mouthed her words. So Sarah Dufour performed a song by Quebec folk and rock band Les Cowboys Fringans. I speak French like in English. Canadian, sorry. Miss Arbour mouthed the words along with her. The song is called La Reina, the Queen. And it's not about the Buckingham Palace hot, but people in Miss Arbour role represent in Canada, in Arbour's role represent in Canada, but sort of that, and it's about a woman everyone called the Queen who looked after the struggling and the ignored in a rough part of Montreal. At night, the song goes like this. These are the lines from the song. At night, she made her rounds in a pickup truck, handing out toast and some coffee to give a little bit of warmth to those who got winter right in their hearts. So this is also Queen. So that was the part that was sung. So all of them making these Freudian slips. It's about the king's duties at this time. It was maybe they're reverting to the Queen before Queen Elizabeth, but in a speech, at least the portion covered by Ian, Her Excellency Louise Arbour did not talk about the king. Something I don't know. I'm glad at last England, but this is old though. I mean, England has had King Charles III on the throne for not the royal throne like as before, but the throne, with the PM of England, Keir Starmer, from the past. It's been 3 years now, I think. Yeah, it was really special. God save the king. But and I even got a coin, which is missing from my home actually. They gave me a British £2 coin, or this some I did, and I still have the Alice Munro coin. Were released when she got the Nobel Prize, but in literature. But this is missing from my home. I have no idea where it's gone. So, anyways, so I clearly like it. So that's the Freudian slip. I get the British um, pound for to. So that's the Freudian slip on their part. They like the British pound coming to me or this end. So that was what I think I accidentally bought Freudian slip. So the King Charles is there, but I actually wanted the Canadian. I think it's the Looney or the Tony. His face is on. So that's the Freudian slip by Her Excellency Louise Arnold. So but or maybe she likes, she's being used to be working with women. She gets along well with women. So or and so she but that's but I'm not creating trouble here. All right. So she likes King Charles III. Who could not? All right. Who could not like King Charles III? All right. Remember, when he was young. Oh my God, when he married Princess Diana, he was very handsome, very handsome. I remember this Indian actor. Have I shared this with you? This Indian Hindi actress, Padmini Kulhapuri. She just went and kissed him and then said, "I couldn't control myself." She got a lot of flack. I mean, she could have done this to an Indian man, but he was Prince Charles. I mean, every Indian man is not a prince. So that was our excuse then. Anyways, so that is and then of course very worthy man. Used to do horse riding, and he's grown old now. very tall, erect, and stature. It's got the royal look, has the royal look, and that sort of a thing. Yeah. So, and then my second example is this essay. This is an obituary. All right, and the man, it was had ran Cavendish Farms. They make fries for Cavendish Farms, and New Brunswick has McCain Foods. They also make fries. So this state, as somebody has this province, grows potatoes, New Brunswick, and so McCain for Cavendish Foods and McCain Cavendish uh, farms and McCain Foods, and he used to give. So that's the obvious. He liked fish and chips. You could say all that. Those are the Freudian slips, but maybe New Brunswick potatoes are cheaper. That's a thought. And but he used to wear a baseball cap of the Mountain Wildcats to with his suit, accessorized his suit with Mountain Wildcats baseball cap. But for 10 years, this must have been expensive. This man was a generous man. His name is Robert C. Irving. He gave in 2006, Mr. Irving met Brent DeBorn, a 10-year-old Mountain Wildcats fan with cerebral palsy, and began giving him and his mother hockey tickets. So for 10 years. And then for 20 years, he gave him a chocolate bar. Yeah, but then the man had cerebral palsy. So, I think this is one British style, British palsy, cerebral palsy. It's not palsy quite, but they. So the Freudian slip here is giving him hockey tickets when he accessorized with the baseball cap. He liked hockey more. New Brunswick, what else to do? They like hockey. They find him alive really sad. He looks nice. He looks like a genius, really, sure, good sort of a man, somebody who you would like to meet. And he's passed away. He's passed away, so you can meet him. So, anyways, what do I want to say? He would have watched the Stanley Cup finals now, happening now. All right, go home. I have no stake in this at all. Really, I don't care. Carolina Hurricanes. But Carolina Hurricanes beat the Montreal Canadiens. So maybe not. They are the sworn enemy, aren't they? So let's go. Vegas Golden Knights. All right, signing out. Gayatri B. Sitaram. Thank you.